Good morning. So, solid night's sleep. My normal routine is to train, I guess technically fasted, so I don't have anything before I get started. The only thing is I have a little bit of pre-workout, which is only a combination of beta-alanine, quercetin, and caffeine. So, I am going to stick that. There's a little bit of magnesium, sodium, potassium, some electrolytes in that. So that'll be the first thing that I have. I got 2 scoops of it. It's about 250-ish grams of caffeine, milligrams of caffeine. Today's less conditioning, more of a hypertrophy, strength, upper body push session. So I'm going to have this pre-workout, get it in my system, and get a good lift in to start these 3 days and roll from there.
So as far as outside of not having that shake last night before bed, this is relatively standard practice in terms of how I go about the mornings anyway. But I'm not switching up the programming that I have written for this week until I really feel like I need to or something changes. But the air bike from Assault, that's kind of like the biggest thing for me. I call them the cold start preps, but just trying to turn the engine over and get some sort of blood flow to get going here in the morning. It's a relatively heavier push day in terms of volume, not so much in intensity, really trying to pull back on the neural output when it comes to the load of max effort or heavy weight or anything like that. So I'm trying to decrease the intensity, a little bit extra volume, but really push through. We're not going to get the heart rate up too much. I think the biggest thing that I'm interested in is seeing how I feel, not during it, because again, it's really pretty much what I normally do, but I will generally refeed and re-up with a protein shake or my morning breakfast, which has at least 50 grams of protein and some of those morning shakes, vitamins, nutrients in it, either midway between these last 2 sets or on the way out the door. So I will not have that. I'm interested to see how I feel not having that in my system. But other than that, we're just going to keep rolling through as is for a normal session. It's interesting how we go through phases of life, because there was a period of time where, for a long time, I mean, up until truly late this year, that I couldn't wrap my head around fasting at all. I mean, I was always so focused on intake and protein intake and fuel and kind of training and all that goes into it that I never wanted to take any period of time not fueling my system or moving training around or anything like that. It wasn't until I started really talking to my boss, my old boss from Whistlepig, Ryan Brown. He was big into it. Every single quarter he would fast, and every time he'd do it, I'm like, you're fucking nuts, man. But the benefits that he used to talk about and the clarity that would come from it, it piqued my interest of like, all right, maybe, you don't know what you don't know. So I wanted to try it. And earlier this year, he was doing it to start the beginning of the year. I was coming off 100 blocks. It was kind of the right time for me to try it. And I wish I didn't document how long I went. I mean, it was definitely more than 24 hours. I think it was closer to that 48-hour mark, but it wasn't fully 48 hours. But I remember feeling great through it. And it made me say, like, all right, maybe there is something to it, but I want to kind of mentally gear up. So starting this second quarter, that's when I said that I wanted to do it. I got to stick true to my word. So we're going to start this quarter for the next 3 days, and I don't really know how I'm going to last on that third day. Anything past, I'm pretty confident I got 36 hours that first time around. So we'll see how it goes. But I have all the electrolytes that I plan on taking. What else? All my vitamins, that's pretty much it, but we'll see how the training goes. The one thing I do remember from that first time around is the second morning waking up, I did a treadmill workout. It was kind of a sprint workout on that Assault runner, and that was like the cleanest sweat that I've ever had in my entire life, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. So once we get past that mark, then I'm a little nervous. But you don't know what you don't know, and the guys started asking me, the guys that we're training with, do I do intermittent fasting? The answer is no. Never even tried it. I've definitely never done fasting, so it's like, how can I give advice or even speak to it if I've never done it? So that's part of this too, is documenting and understanding the process and how my body goes through it, just so I can speak from an experimental and educated standpoint on that front. I'm not a scientist, but I'm definitely experimenting with my own system. All right, 5 by 9. Nice and controlled. There's a little training tip mixed into all this nutrition shit, but if you wear an Apple Watch or a Whoop or some sort of fitness tracker, and you start doing stuff with a kettlebell, the bell's gonna flip back and hit that watch face or actual device face, so flip it underneath. Oh, I fucking hate these. "72-hour fast." Didn't have that on my bingo card. Matt, you are not wrong. Caught everybody off guard. It's definitely against what I usually do. That's why you gotta do it. You never know what you can do until you do it. Or should. Or could. Might. I don't know, we'll see. Still got a lot of hours left. 60. But who's counting? Usually when I leave the house in the morning, I do the exact same thing. I leave the house with a gallon jug of water. I mix up my morning protein shake that I have after training to take with me, and then I have a coffee with it. And I'm leaving the house realizing just how weird that feeling of not mixing up the shake is. I had all the vitamins and supplements that I take in the morning, the usual ones, fish oil, vitamin D, vitamin B12, a few of the other ones. We'll go over all that. But I'm not mixing up that shake, and I can feel that urge driving in of like, oh, I want that thing. Which is interesting because I got to break that habit, obviously, for 2 days. But I feel that urge, like I want to drink it. And I know that's going to get worse and worse as we go, but that's definitely the first observation. I have the gallon jug. We'll still try to drink a gallon over the course of the day. If I start to feel a little bit run down or depleted, I might pull back on how much just straight up water I have. But we're going to go in and have some electrolytes and go about the day. And I don't have a plan set on how many electrolyte servings or those drinks that I'm going to have. We'll go over them as I do, but I'm kind of going to go off of feel and try to stay ahead of any hunger or headaches or anything that is what people warn me about. But so far, obviously feeling good outside of not having that shake. But the habit thing is interesting. I feel that urge to really want to drink a shake, so we'll shake that and just keep going. Stopping to grab some gas to close out the workday, but in the grand scheme of things, I think I'm about 18 hours into this thing, and I feel pretty damn good. I don't have any fatigue. I mean, I don't want to call them hunger pains, but like I definitely feel like I could eat if I wanted to. But overall, I don't feel viciously hungry, that my stomach's turning on me, and I definitely didn't have any shakes or feel like I had low energy over the course of the day, so that's a positive. I've had about 2,000 milligrams of sodium all in, some potassium and magnesium. I'll try to get a full count on everything that was that breakdown for the day. But so far, I mean, grand scheme of things, I feel pretty darn good. Heading into the evening, one thing I'm going to try to do, I'm still working through this gallon of water. I've had a little close to, I think, with mixing up the electrolytes, just water alone through this gallon, I've had about 50 ounces so far today, so we still have a fair amount of water. I'm not too worried about hitting 128 ounces. That's usually what I do over the course of the day, but I'm just going to see how I feel. I don't want to flush my system and drink too much and then have to make it up with extra electrolytes, so I'm just going to kind of go off a feel. Drink water when I want to, use what's in that jug to mix up the elements later in the evening, but I am trying to target certain things to get excited for. I brought home a seltzer water, so that'll be my dinner and supper with the girls. Just something to kind of keep ahead of me that I'm looking forward to drinking, not just drinking water all the way through. So I'll tell you though, if there was ever a day for winter to break into spring, it's right now, out here pushing the girls on the swings, keeping my mind off the fact that I can't eat dinner. Mare's in there finishing up making theirs. I'm gonna go in here. I'm looking forward to that soda water, but I've kind of gamed it all day where I wanted to get to the 11 o'clock mark to have that elixir, then 4 o'clock for the first. I had a watermelon element that tasted pretty damn good. So look forward to drinking this seltzer water and explaining to the girls why I'm not eating with them, but it is what it is. Overall, though, lack of energy, no lack of energy or anything like that. I feel pretty good. I don't feel like I haven't eaten or anything like that. So first 24-hour block, it's gone pretty well. So now we're wrapping up, officially wrapping up day one. I think in the grand scheme of things, it went about as well as it possibly could have. I felt great throughout the day. I stuck to exactly what I wanted to do, hit the time intervals, and then made it through dinner with the girls. They ate a great dinner, and I just had that seltzer water. So I'm going to have an Element packet. I have this chocolate sea salt one. People suggested actually throwing in hot water, so I'm going to throw some water in the kettle, warm that up, have this packet, have the vitamins, and then head to bed. But my plan in the morning, seeing how I feel, is to get up and do a dad training 3K. So we're going to do 3,000 meters mixed in with some other strength stuff. But I got to get into the distillery early. We get an early start, so we'll see how we feel and go from there. Good day one.